The purpose of this video is to walk you through the process of how to create your health and safety and your fire risk assessments within the NCASS dashboard. If you've never done a risk assessment before, there's no need to worry. Tools are specifically designed to assist you through the process and help you identify all the hazards and, importantly, the controls that you need to take into account when you're assessing your health and safety and your fire safety. While the process does aim to be simple and user-friendly, it is crucial that you don't rush through it and that you take your time to carefully consider the questions so that the final documents that you produce accurately reflect the risks associated within your food and drinks business. Okay, so let's do it. The first thing we're going to do is head to ncass.org.uk and we're going to click the login button and we're going to log in with our membership number, membership details. So it's your membership number and your password. Okay, so that's going to take you into the NCASS member dashboard screen, the home screen, which looks like this. And then you click the risk assessments button down here, and that will take you into your My Units and Premises page for which you want to create the risk assessments for. I'm going to assume that you've already created or set up your unit or premises. If you haven't, then you can do so using the Add a Unit button there. And you can see down here, I've already created a unit here. It's called Al's Fish and Chips, where I'm selling, surprisingly, fish and chips from a converted food vehicle. So I'm going to click that Make Unit Compliant, and that's going to take me into the unit page. Down here, you can see this is where we create the risk assessments. For now, we want to create the health and safety risk assessment. So we click that green button there, and that will take us into the risk assessment tool. So the first section here is some information or instructions around specifically health and safety risk assessments. So do have a read and familiarize yourself with those. And then the second section here, we have the disclaimer section. So it's here we have some specific information and some rules and exceptions around the health and safety risk assessment system. It's again important to read and familiarize yourself with this because there are certain hazards or high-risk processes or activities such as these listed here where you will need to go a little bit further with your risk assessment process and you will require a specialist risk assessment document. That's because these are high-risk activities that can't be covered using this risk assessment tool. So once you're happy with that, you'll then need to tick the 3 declaration tick boxes at the bottom. First tick box here is to accept that you understand exactly what we just went through with regards to those exceptions or high-risk activities. The second tick box is to accept that you take full responsibility for the risk assessment document that you produce and that you take responsibility for accurately reflecting your business activities and the risks. And the third tick box is to accept that if you do modify the information or the advice generated by the risk assessment in any way, you acknowledge that the additional information or the changes that you include will not be covered by the primary authority and therefore cannot be considered primary authority assured advice. Just regarding the primary authority, it is important to inform your local authority or environmental health officer during any routine visits or inspections that you are a member of NCASS and therefore you're part of a primary authority partnership. Now, if you're in England, that's with the Royal Borough of Greenwich and Monmouthshire County Council if you're in Wales. As an NCASS member using NCASS systems, it means that you're utilising primary authority assured systems for your compliance. So do be sure to point that out to them. Unfortunately, the primary authority schemes are not currently available in Scotland or Northern Ireland. However, the documentation that you generate through the NCASS systems will still be absolutely accurate and relevant in both of those countries. For more information on the benefits of primary authority, please just head to the NCASS website, visit the primary authority pages there, or do consult your account manager here at NCASS as well. Okay, but let's crack on with the health and safety risk assessment. So after ticking those 3 boxes, we then move on to the first hazard. The first hazard to look at and consider is manual handling. So you need to ask yourself, will there be manual handling within your business? So for the fish and chips business that I'm creating this document for, there certainly will be manual handling from time to time. So I need to go through and include this. The first consideration is who might be harmed. Well, when it comes to manual handling, it's likely to be only my members of staff. If you do have anyone else that you need to add in here, you can do so just by clicking in the white box there and just simply typing it in. So I'm just going to put an example here. I'm just going to type customers. I click enter and you can see there it enters customers in for us. Now, of course, it's unlikely customers will be doing any manual handling on behalf of the business. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that for now. And then the next thing we need to consider is in what way may they be harmed? So you can see we have a range of pre-populated answers here. Typical injury risk, really, if you will, when it comes to manual handling. Now, again, if you need to add in anything further in here, you can do so. Again, same process, just by clicking the white box and then typing in the risk and entering enter, and then that will add it in for you. If you accidentally delete any of these pre-populated pre-populated answers, you need to get them back. Best way to do that is to head to the top, click this reset to default button. Bear in mind, this is going to reset the risk assessment, so you will lose all your progress, but that's the best way to do that. So we scroll back down to the bottom. We're just going to add that in again. And there we go. And now the third question we need to consider is what may cause the harm. Again, it's the same process as before. We have a range of pre-populated answers already listed here, which would suit a typical business. But again, please do consider what else may cause harm in your business, and do add it in here. You do that in exactly the same way. Just type it in here and just press enter. Now we're going to move on to the controls. So these are the actions taken to reduce that risk and prevent that harm. So you need to read through and consider each one of these in turn. So let's go through. First and foremost, ensure that the movement of loads is within each individual's ability. Is that control in place? I'm going to tick yes, it is. Allocate more than one person to moving large or heavy loads. Yes. We're just going to read through each one of these here, and we're going to click yes if it applies and we've got that control in place. Remove unnecessary packaging, and we're just going to work our way through. Now, if you do come to a control but you actually do something different something different to the recommended control, then you will actually need to click no. The system, so let's take this as an example, allow a resting stage between loads to allow muscles to recover. So if I click no there, the system's then going to ask me to please enter my alternative control measures. Now, for instance, on this, it may be that I allow multiple resting stages or something like that. And there we go. I've added that in, and then I just continue with the process. So I'm just going to continue clicking through, reading each one. And if it applies, click yes. If you do have a control, come across a control that's not applicable, for instance, it could be this one, identify alternative safe route. It may be that I don't have an alternative route with which to the manual handling will take place, the delivery, the loading, etc. In which case, I'm just going to click the not applicable because I can't identify an alternative safe route. And there we go. I'm just going to continue, finish the process, we move on. And there we go. So now you can see at the bottom, we've now got this done box. So it's saying that I've completed the manual handling process. If you don't see this done box, then it means you've probably missed one out. So just go back up because you probably missed one somewhere. Just want to point out before I complete this, however, you also see this add new control box. This actually allows you to enter any additional controls that you may implement in your business for manual handling. I'm not going to add any in there, but you can do so yourself. And if you do want to delete or take away any, you can just use that trash icon there. Just as a note, the system will actually not let you delete any of these pre-populated controls. You must either answer yes, no, or not applicable to these ones that are already in there. Okay, so we've completed manual handling. So we're just going to click the done button here. And we can see that we've now got a green tick next to manual handling. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go through every hazard as the process does take a bit of time. But, when it comes to you doing it yourself, please don't rush it. It is important that you get this right. And of course, when it comes to risk assessment, it's important to point out it's not just about documenting your controls. You must ensure that you implement these controls in real life as you're working and carrying out your business activities. So just like in assessing the other hazards, as you do with manual handling, you will consider violence at work, for instance, you will consider who might be harmed, in what way might they be harmed, and what might cause the harm. So it's the same process, and you're just working your way through. Now, if there is a hazard that doesn't apply to your business, so let's just have a look down at some of the other hazards. It may be, for instance, lone working, using that as an example. Maybe that's you don't have any staff working on their own within the business. Then you can just click this tick box here if it does not apply, and then that will then remove that whole hazard, make it not applicable, and remove it from your risk assessment. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to scroll down. I'm actually going to make all of these not applicable so that we can complete the document. Do appreciate there is a lot here, but there is a lot to consider when it comes to health and safety risk assessment. So it is important, like I said, that you do go through and get it right. And that's it. That's our risk assessment completed. Obviously, yours wouldn't look anything like this because you'll have gone through, and a lot of these hazards, you'll have need to consider all the controls within it. In order to then complete the document, I just need to put in my name. You also need to sign it as well. So I'm just going to do a little squiggle, click the use signature button, and there we go. That allows us to then create the document. And there we go. We can then, if we then go into the unit again, we can see the document is there. And that's our health and safety risk assessment. Your document, as I said, because you'll have all the other hazards in there, will look quite different to this. It'll be considerably longer than this. But there you go. From there, you can then obviously send that document to anyone you need to. You can use the send documents function. Or, of course, if you need to as well, you can then print it. We'd recommend that you print it and include it in your safety management system. If you actually complete your risk assessments within 48 hours of joining or renewing your membership, then we'll actually print out the documents for you and include it in the risk assessment section of the safety management system when we send that to you. Do remember that your risk assessments, they are key to your confidence in management score within your overall food hygiene rating. So again, it is critical that you can access them, that your staff can access them, that you understand them, and that, of course, really importantly, that you are implementing them as well. The fire risk assessment process will very briefly show this. It's the same as the health and safety. Make sure you have a read of the instructions and then also the exemptions here as well, of where the document cannot cover. Particularly important for fixed site or bricks and mortar businesses. This system cannot be used to carry out a full fire risk assessment on your premises. We would recommend that is done in conjunction with your landlord if you rent a premises. And it's certainly worth seeking the support of a specialist fire risk assessment consultancy business. The system is suitable for assessing the fire risk for the equipment within your business. But again, you can see here, it's the same process, the tick boxes, and then you've got different hazards here as well. The first 4 hazards are applicable for businesses that are trading from gazebos and stalls. And then you've got hazards that apply specifically to vehicles and trailers. And then also hazards that will just be applicable to permanent structures. So you just include the hazards that apply to your business and your own setup. It may well be that you operate gazebo stalls, vehicles and trailers and permanent structures within your business, in which case you will need to consider all of those hazards. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of this video today. Of course, if you do have any problems in creating these documents, or if you require any assistance at all with this process, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. But thanks for watching.